Hello. Okay, see if I can get live on all of these. And here we go. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, everyone. Just going to make sure that, yes, we hopefully live on all the channels and the right channels, which is definitely a new thing for me, being right on all the right channels. Oh my word, I've done so many of these now and been on the wrong one. Yeah, hello everyone. So it's good to see you all. 2 weeks ago we didn't have a live, and the reason we didn't have a live is because I was sick, and there's no other reason. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing very well, and so I didn't announce one, and so I didn't lie and say that I'm I'm going to be there when I'm not. But at the same time, I did say that I would normally do a live for the Polyglot conference once every 2 weeks. Unfortunately, yeah, I wasn't very well. Yesterday, I wasn't very well either, and I don't know what was wrong. I was convinced I had coronavirus, but fortunately, it seems like I don't. I just must have had some other thing that was going wrong, and my breathing was terrible. I don't know what was happening with me. But anyway, I'm here, and I'm above ground, which is always good. And yes, here to talk to you all about the Polyglot conference, which I'm excited about, of course. Dzień dobry, Richard. Dobry dzień. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. Hello, hello, hello. This is so cool that you're all coming online to talk about the conference. I'm very excited about it. And what we'll do today is I will take some time to talk a little bit about languages after, if you have language-related questions, because I'm aware that many of you like to talk about languages during these lives as well, and I definitely do that. Thank you very much for your kind wishes. Yeah, I feel a lot better today, actually. It was just yesterday. I had a bit of a rough day yesterday, unfortunately. But yeah, better than I was. Thank you very, very much. Okay. And I was just going to say that, yeah, so if we talk about the conference first, I'm happy to make a bit of time at the end to answer any language questions. I appreciate that sort of I get quite a lot of questions on Thursdays when I do my live for speaking fluently, and I'm very, very happy. Pozdrav od Makedonije, pozdrav, kako si? Dobri? Zdravo. So I'm very yeah, I'm very happy to talk a little bit about language learning and language-related questions at the end. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about the Polyglot conference. So the very important thing to remember right now is that we are 1 week away from closing our call for papers, which means that you only have this week now to apply to speak at the Polyglot conference. And Cześć Wojtek, jak się masz? I'm really, really pleased that we're getting in some really interesting ideas for talks. I just want to reiterate a few things because I think it's important to do that now that we've got only 1 week left before we close the call for papers. And that is that this year, we're really taking advantage of the fact that we are not going to be in person at the conference. And that sounds a bit strange, I know, because everyone's looking forward to being together and we really love being together. The thing is that I'm really convinced that taking advantage of what an online environment actually means for an event like this is the most important way to move forward. And that means that obviously we're not so constrained by times and times of speeches, lengths of speeches. We can talk for as little or as long as we like. I mean, okay, within reason. People aren't going to want to watch a whole 3-hour video unless you've made something really super duper. But what we can do is it means we can have smaller presentations as well. So let's say, for example, you want to talk about an endangered, an indigenous, or a minority language of a region where you live, or you're interested in, you want to talk about learning materials of that language, you want to talk about how you go about learning it, you want to talk about a community, you want to talk about where you live, you want to talk about your local market, your local situation, what it's like living where you live. Remember that people aren't always aware of what life is like outside of their own cities or towns or states or countries. So it's often in even the most what you think is ordinary and mundane, and maybe even you think is boring, can often be interesting for other people. So this is an opportunity to even share 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes of just things about, a window into your world. And this is what we really want to see at the Polyglot conference this year. It's a rare opportunity to do that. And what we're looking at doing is organizing the talks so that we have the Polyglot conference main talks, but we'll also have kind of, like we have the language event that goes around different parts of the world. We'll organize it so that we have language event based on regions of the world. And so people can dip into areas they are interested in more easily. It will be ordered in a way that you can find what you want, where you want it. And I think that would be super, super cool. So if you are interested in just giving a shorter presentation, we definitely are open to that idea as well. So it doesn't need to be a huge amount of work. And then what we'll do is we're getting some things prepared now for to help you with how to put a video together, how to prepare a presentation, and then we will have that ready as well for next week. Paulino is helping us with this, and he will be producing something to show us how to put together a presentation ready to send in to be part of the Polyglot conference this year. The really cool thing is that we're going to have 10 days together. It means that we'll have 10 days where you can watch the presentations when you want, as you want. You can binge on certain presentations. You can binge on all of the presentations, but you will also have a chance to also interact with each other as well. So we're going to have language rooms, language chats. We're going to have opportunities to practice. We're going to have teachers available. iTalk is looking at options to have some of their teachers working with us as well, to help to move conversations along, to make them more structured. But also we're going to look at having just general chat rooms where you can meet up. You'll be able to hopefully message each other too, and talk to each other and set up times when you meet during the conference in rooms that you can use. We'll also likely have rooms that you could use maybe to do interviews and things like that too. So you'll be able to do all sorts of cool things at the conference. We're very, very excited about it. And Brett and Esther are working hard behind the scenes on putting the actual structure of the conference site together. That will happen hopefully in the next few weeks. We'll have a basic structure up in place. So far, it's kind of been building the foundation of the site itself, ready to sort of pile on what we want to do. So what you'll notice is, if you're that way inclined, if you go to the Polyglot conference website, we've actually deconstructed the website. I say we, it's the royal we. I haven't done anything. It's been Esther and Brett. So when I say we, I mean kind of the team, not me. I'm absolutely not doing anything to do with it. But they have been working very, very hard on the tech side of things to make it compatible with as many different platforms as possible. So it'll work on many devices and work on many different computer types. So previously we had a normal website, so it needed to be deconstructed and then reconstructed, if that makes sense. So a lot of time's been spent in that kind of deconstruction, reconstruction phase. And now we're getting to a point where we can start building on top of that again. And when we've done that and we feel happy that we've got to this point where we can help house you and home you on the Polyglot conference website, then we will start looking at sign-ups for the actual event itself. What I would invite you to do is to sign up to the website already if you haven't done so now. Just go to polyglotconference.com and sign up for updates, sign up to the mailing list so that you keep on top of where you are. It's the best way to do that, really. And then I would say that a really cool thing that we're going to do is look at how we then use that site for you to all interact together during the time of the conference. And hopefully in the lead up to it, we're going to be having a number of activities that are going to be worked on in conjunction with our partners Langfest, who are with us this year and next year as well, I'm very pleased to say, with Tetsu and the team. And then Tetsu and the team have U-Talk every year as sponsors, and they're going to join us as well this year. And they're looking at doing some cool things in the run-up to the Polyglot conference this year online too. And we are very excited about that because I think it's going to just get things going, really. It's going to be really fun. We're going to have obviously all of our presentations, but we're also going to look at having like workshops. So please do feel free to present things like we've seen recently. We've been releasing some really cool talks from last year in Fukuoka. So one of the ones was on Circassian, which is by John T. And I've actually asked John T if you wouldn't mind doing another updated version of that so that we move forward with our Circassian learning. And then you can watch the first one and then go to the second one. So that would be super, super cool. So he seems up for that, which is really good. And we would love to see any more of those kinds of things where you introduce us to a language that you're passionate about, a language that either you speak or you've been learning or you've learned. I think those kinds of things really help to engage people. And also we want to see more things out there to help us learn languages, right? I mean, we're always looking for ways to learn, and some of the minority, endangered, and sort of indigenous languages, often they lack resources. So this is a good opportunity to add some of those resources into the mix online and make them easy for people to find. So if you have one of those languages, I would be as bold as to say, I think we have a duty as a community to give back to society and to be kind of activists in a positive way, to really add that kind of level of detail into the language learning community to represent the different and diverse and beautiful languages that we have in the world. So if you are able to, we would love to see that kind of stuff introduced in the language. So please, please, please do consider applying through the website. Let us know how you're going to do it. And then you're going to have the whole of August. So we're going to be going through all of the presentations that we've received and making decisions on them, of course. And then we will be letting you know very, very soon. And the other cool thing we'll do is give you a whole month in which to work on your presentation. And we'll, as I said, we'll give you some tips on how to put together a video and present to the Polyglot conference audience and Langfest audience. And this, I think, will just set the tone and just help you with that month to be able to do that in a sort of a calm, measured, timely manner, so that you're not just sort of spending lots and lots of time just doing presentation stuff. It gives you an entire month. And then when we get that at the end of August, what we then have to do with the presentations is to top and tail them, which means that we have to add on the Polyglot conference intros, outros, and then we have to upload them so that they're ready. And that takes time because we're expecting to have quite a lot of presentations this year so that people have a choice of what to do. Think of this as your Netflix conference. You're going to be able to choose so many different things that you'll be able to do. That's the whole idea of this. And the more we put in as a community, the more we get out of it as a community too. So, so yes. We are looking forward to this, and we're actually working on a few ideas as well in our build up to next year, which will be in Mexico. So Cholula still stands. We are planning to go to Cholula in 2021. All things going well with COVID, of course. I don't want to sort of jump the gun too much, but our aim is to go to Mexico, to Cholula in 2021. And to actually spend an entire week together, hopefully with, you know, sort of taking in the whole Dia de los Muertos, for example, that we can enjoy afterwards. So we're actually moving the conference back a week as well, so that we can be there for that, which would be really, really cool. Now, in terms of our sponsors, so already I think I've mentioned to you that UTalk are joining us with Langfest, because they're usual sponsors. So we're very, very pleased to have UTalk with us. We've also got our main sponsors this year, which are going to be italki, and italki have got some really cool ideas. I had a meeting with the italki team. I have one every 2 weeks with the italki people, and they've got some really cool ideas this year for the conference. I'm extremely excited. Jim, who's my point of contact there for this year, and he came to Fukuoka, and he was just really into it. He really got the conference. He got what we like. He got what we're about. He loves languages himself. He's not just working for italki. He just loves languages, and And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the ideas that they've come up with. They've got some great ideas for introductions to languages, for introductions to the window into people's worlds. I really, really love the effort they're putting in to making this conference a success. And likewise, with our sort of old and trusted conference supporters of every year. So we're going to be working with the Teach Yourself and Michelle Thomas team, and also with Asimil. And every year they also provide really good ideas and really good insights into how to make the conference the best it can be. And so we're always very excited to have them with us. And this year is going to be no exception. So they are now confirmed and just waiting on their to put the logos on the site, but they are confirmed as being with us this year again, and it's very exciting. And also we have Link, and I'm very excited to have Link with us this year because they've been with Langfest as well as a typical sponsor of Langfest and supporter of just a supporter of the events. And Steve Kaufman was there in the very beginning when I first put together the very first conference and I was reaching out to sponsors. Steve Kaufman actually sent money to us to help make the very first conference happen, and I will forever be grateful for that. And then my own company that I work for, the Social Element, has also agreed that they're going to be supporting the conference again, and I'm really, really pleased about that because again, our CEO Tamara Littleton has kind of believed in the work that we do in the Polyglot conference and the language community, and believed in it and supported it from the very beginning as well. Without her support and the support of the Social Element, honestly, this would not have been possible. So I will always be grateful to my work colleagues for being part of this and for making it possible every year. So yeah, a huge thank you to all of the sponsors and to particularly to my employer because yeah, they allow me time to work on the conference. They allow me time every year to go to the conference, and they've allowed actually sent somebody last year, Abe, who came to talk about gender pronouns, and I was, I really, really like that they're so into it. So very, very cool. The other cool thing is we have all of you people, you wonderful, wonderful people out there supporting the conference, supporting the language community, and seriously, without you there, it would be absolutely nothing. It would just be me talking to myself, and that would be it. So yes, thank you all so much. Now, as far as the conference goes, and as far as the talks go, all I would say is just reiterate that go to the website and sign up, polyglotconference.com. Sign up for updates. Make sure that you have applied to speak if you're planning to apply to speak. And make sure you do that before the end of the month, because then we'll be closing applications to speak. And we would hate to miss any of you lovely people who want to talk. The topic of the conference, I've just seen a question. So there are a number of topics, actually. The main overarching topic for the conference is a window into my world. Because it's the Global Polyglot Conference, it means that what we've got the advantage of this year is not having to stick to a very rigid time frame. So we're going to have basically all of the talks will be sort of given to everybody who attends the conference straight away. You can watch them when you want. We'll have some times where you can have sort of viewing parties and things like that. We're looking at incorporating that kind of thing into it, but you can watch it whenever you want, and there's no kind of feeling of I've missed out, or I've missed the time, or I'm not awake at that time, or anything else. Because the big advantage of a global conference is that it's not stuck to one time zone. So we have 10 days together where you can watch when you want. You can, if you're up at 3 a.m. wherever you are in the world and you feel like chatting to somebody, there should be someone online somewhere in the world that you can talk to. And you can enjoy your languages on your own terms, in your own time, and also fit it in around your daily work throughout the week. If you've got work, if you've got studies, if you've got whatever else, you can dip into the conference for a few hours. You can watch something, you can join some of the live stuff, you can just join into and plug in play. It's a plug and play conference, which is the whole advantage of online communities and online life. And that's what we wanted to really capture capture at the conference. I think that's a really important thing to do. So yes, that's the main theme, is this window into my world. So we get to see what it's like around the world, different languages, different communities, different cultures, different traditions. We get to learn about each other and about each other's ways of life. Then we've got under that, we've kind of spelt things out a little bit, because it's become clear to me over many, many years of organizing this conference that if you just say that everyone's welcome, unfortunately, it doesn't always encourage a huge amount of diversity. It will definitely encourage certain people to speak up, but we've decided that it's important to actually highlight the groups. So we particularly want to hear from Black voices and minority voices in communities. We definitely want to hear from them, because often, and at the conference, definitely underrepresented. If I give you an example, talks on African languages and cultures, we've maybe had 1, 2 in like 7 years, which is crazy, because Africa is a huge, beautiful, diverse continent with many, many things to share and give. So that seemed like a no-brainer at a global conference. But also, Black communities, obviously Black Lives Matter has been a big thing this year, and it makes sense within that community to have examples for the youth of today to follow and be able to identify with people in their communities that they can look up to and have as a positive image. I mean, we have people like that in the community naturally, like Moses. We have people like that, and I think we need more. We need more people to stand up and be counted, and I think this is a way of just making sure that people sit up and listen and hopefully join the chorus. And obviously, with this week, there was a Black Polyglot conference, a Black female polyglot event yesterday that happened, and I think that kind of thing is really important, because it helps to sow the seeds of a fertile ground on which to grow further and to make that more mainstream. I think that's really important. So yes, that people of different minority groups as well, and that would include any minority group. If you feel you identify with a minority group in your society, that includes you, not just whoever you think we imagine. It includes everyone. And then we thought it was important also to spell out that people with disabilities is also a group we'd love to hear more from. We don't hear enough, and we definitely need to hear much, much more from people living with disabilities, how they learn languages, what it's like learning languages, what it's like culturally, what it's like socially, what it's like, just anything that's important to you. I mean, this is the thing I want to kind of get across, is that it's not what you imagine I want or the community wants. We want to hear what's important to you. So let me give you an example. Sometimes when I've been going through the whole topic of Indigenous languages, right? So with the Polyglot conference last year, we had the Indigenous languages as a whole thing, and we were obviously officially linked to the Year of Indigenous Languages. Now, when that happened, it took me on a real journey myself. And personally, I sort of started learning Maori. I was really getting into the whole Indigenousness and Indigenous culture and Indigenous thought and Indigenous language, the whole works. I mean, you can't really separate languages and cultures. And one of the things I kind of, what struck me was that very often people would go to Indigenous cultures and say, we want to include you, aren't we great to include you? Isn't it amazing? Aren't we being open? Aren't we being diverse? But it was always, or often, it will be on the terms of the person organizing the event. And they're not often the topics that the people want to hear about or they want to talk about. So it was kind of, actually what you're doing is going to a minority group, you're going to an Indigenous culture and saying, I want you to do something that I want to see from you. And that's not really what this is about this year. Whereas, so for example, me going to, I'm going to take the Maori community because it's one I've had a lot of dialogue with in recent months. So it's like me going to the Maori community and saying, okay, I want to talk about the Maori language and the Maori culture and whatever. And Maori people saying to me, okay, it's another Pakeha, another another European, another white person wanting to hear about what they're interested in hearing about. And of course I am. But actually, what's important to that community? I mean, maybe an important thing to talk about is how it is being being Maori in New Zealand, and many people in the world not knowing that they have the highest teenage suicide rate in the Western world. Um, Maybe that might be more important and more applicable to the Maori culture, so that people raise their awareness and we start thinking of solutions and ways to actually give practical help and to get people more involved in things that are really, really difficult for the community. So this is why I think that it's not good for me to prescribe what we do. I think it's really important that you come to us with what's important for you as a community. And so I don't want to say too much what I think it should be. I just did want to give you that example so that you see that what we're open to is not just language specifically. It can have a linguistic, it can have a cultural element. But when we learn languages and when we're talking about cultures, we're not just talking about one minor thing. We're talking about many things. And to engage and to interact with people in a language or in a different society, it means that we do need a bit of an understanding as to what's important to that community, to that society. And so, yes, that's why we're very, very specific and pointing out different things. And then, of course, we're looking at the future, to the road to Cholula. We're looking at some cool things we can do with Cholula for next year to celebrate Mexico, to get ready to go to Mexico, maybe learning Nahuatl. How do we feel about learning Nahuatl? I think that would be so cool. So Anya and her team at Zaloa Languages, with Os, their teacher for Nahuatl, they have a great course online. Please do check that out to get you started. But it would be cool if we could maybe take that a bit further and see what else we can do. It would be good to have resources that we can use moving forward. And this is why I talk about having real outcomes from the Polyglot conference, having something tangible that we can make a difference to people's lives and people's communities. I think it would be good to give back in a way, and I think the way we can do that is to raise awareness, is to document things that are important to the communities, and also if we have materials that we can use for language learning, which of course many of us like to do as well. And then you can get involved and enjoy whichever parts of the conference you enjoy. The important thing is choice. It's appealing to as many people as possible, because we may not all identify with every single thing, right, in our community. We're very diverse. People have different beliefs, different traditions, different backgrounds, different histories, different everything. But I think that the one thing that unites us is that we've got this curiosity and love for different languages and attached to the different languages of different cultures. And so we do have that in common, and that's one thing I think we can all agree on. And I think you put into this what you get out, and you get out of this what you put in, and also you can pick and choose the things that interest you. If you're not interested in one aspect of what we discuss in the community, all you need to do is just not listen, or listen and then maybe leave it, I don't know, or just look at something you really like. So I think that we all have that ability to sort of support each other without always having to agree 100% with what we all say. I don't think that's necessary in life. I think that the important thing is that we support each other if we know that we're all pulling generally in the same direction of something positive. And I think that's the key thing, and that's what I would like to see move forward with the Polyglot conference. So it's kind of my ethos, and yeah, I mean, of course, leading the Polyglot conference, as I have done for a number of years now, clearly my ethos does pervade it. I think that it would be a bit strange if I didn't add in my thought process and my thoughts and my kind of own ethos. So yes, I would love to see that. I'm enjoying seeing the nice comments. I'm so glad that you would you're with me on this journey, and I'm really, really pleased about that. So are there any questions about the Polyglot conference that I can? Good afternoon from Greece. Yasu, Tikanis. I'd love to learn Nahuatl. I'm glad you would, Carol. I'd love to learn it too. Comprendo la oscuridad por otras lenguas. Para mí sí que siempre es una cosa que me gusta mucho. Me gustan los idiomas y siempre voy aprendiendo más idiomas cada día, que para mí es que una cosa que me gusta un montón. Así que no sé cómo decirlo, es que lo hago siempre, cada jueves pues tengo mi cosa, mi bola en, en Facebook, en YouTube, en Instagram también, así que comparto siempre, no sé qué decir. Hello to everyone, okay, let me see, I can see any other questions on the conference, just speak Chinese, Spanish and Korean, and a little bit of Japanese. Okay, that's fantastic, you can speak so many cool languages, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it when you come and you speak these languages. I think it's fantastic. Where will the conference take place? This year, the conference, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, the conference can't take place in a physical location. So we're going to be having it on the website, polyglotconference.com, and you'll be able to join us there. And we'll have a place for you to sign up very soon, hopefully. Yes, so that's what's going to happen this year. It's going to be called Polyglot Conference Global. So the price for the conference next year in Mexico, I don't know prices yet for Mexico. It will depend on what happens with venues and all sorts of things. We will find that out, well, next year, I guess you'll find that out. That won't be around. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to have that information for you anytime soon. My priority is definitely going to be the global conference this year. And then after that, we'll start looking at the Mexico one again. But believe me, we'll try and make it as affordable as possible. I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to spread the love of language and different cultures. So yes, it will be as cheap as we can make it. And if you cannot afford, anybody out there, if you desperately want to come to a conference and you can't afford to come, but it's in your area, but it's close by, you can get to it, and that's not the problem, you can always write to me. I'm never going to tell somebody they can't come because they can't afford to come. I will never ever do that. I mean, obviously, I can't fill the conference with 800, but at the same time, if you really want to come, if it's your wish to come, and you can't afford to, seriously, I mean, I'm not going to turn people away from taking part in this event. Absolutely not. I think it's really important to me that you. It's really important to me that you take part if you want to be part of it. Okay, so yeah, we'll figure. ¡Qué bien! Uy, qué idioma. Me gusta mucho esto. Está bien, tan guay. Have I ever tried to learn Nepali? I haven't, no, but I do have a book for Nepali, actually. I've got the Teach Yourself book for Nepali. My friend gave it to me. She went to Nepal and she got it and intended on learning some Nepali before she went there and then didn't. And then she said, you may as well have it because you like languages. So I have this Nepali book on my shelf. I've not used it yet, though. I'm sure my good friend Tim Keeley would love me to learn Nepali and to go trekking with him one day. I would love to do that as well. It'd be fantastic. He's really into those languages, which is cool. So let me just check if there are any other questions that I have missed. Okay. I think I've answered most of the questions I had to do with the conference, unless there are any other ones. A ver. Oh, so I can't see any other questions about the conference. If you do have any questions about languages, please do feel free to write them. I'm happy to answer a couple of questions about languages. Or if you've got any other general questions that you'd like to ask me, I'm happy. Useful language I've learned in terms of my job has been German, hands down. German, I basically got almost every job that I've had because I speak German. Just business-wise, it's a very good language in Europe. Many people look for German, and so yeah, German for sure. I don't even need to think about it, really. I'd say that there were a number of other languages that have been useful too. So in Europe, French, Spanish, and then, well, aside from German, and then also I've used Italian. Swedish and Dutch are probably the surprising languages for you in that list. But they would be the other two that I've used quite a lot at work, because many native English speakers don't speak those languages. So they're often, it's very difficult to find people who speak them in a number of industries. So if you speak good Swedish and Dutch, then you can often find work, surprisingly, as a native English speaker. Let me see. Here we got a question. Have you? Okay, I saw that one. Do you know somebody with disability who's a polyglot? I'm curious. Yes, I've met many people who have got people with disabilities who are also polyglots or very good language learners, however they want to identify themselves. But yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely. And different types of disabilities too. So absolutely. In fact, there have been a number of, Chanel Patrice is in our community, and she's blind, and she has a podcast, and I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this because she speaks about this openly, and she learns lots of languages. She loves languages. She's based in the US, and hopefully she'll speak this year at the conference. And yeah, there was actually a lady I met at work many years ago, and she was blind as well, and she studied languages and loved languages, and she was extremely good as well. I mean, really impressive. She learned Finnish, and she was learning when I met her. She was learning. She was studying Bosnian to go to Bosnia, actually. So yeah, really cool. There are many people like that. Yeah. In the community. I think sometimes as well with disabilities, just to say that disabilities, you don't often see a disability. So sometimes we don't perceive what a disability might be like or what it might be. And so sometimes there are the people in the community that I've met, and had they not told me and that's one of the reasons why I selected multilingualism and autism as a topic for the conference in Reykjavik, because I think it's an extremely poignant and extremely important topic to discuss, given just the numbers of people I've met who identify on the autism spectrum in the community and love languages. So yeah, I've many people. Learning Mandarin, fantastic. Okay. Anyone you would like to exchange with? Okay. Oh, are you asking me or you're asking other people? I think there are conversations happening on Instagram between the people on the chat, which is really cool. I love it. I love this. Are there any people speaking? So there will be people speaking different languages, like Lithuanian, like any language you can imagine, I think. And what we're going to end up doing is the idea is you'll have a profile, you'll be able to put the languages on you speak, and you'll be able to find each other out as well. So be able to find language exchange partners and that kind of thing at the conference. That's what we're hoping to do. Kind of like a virtual badge that we have normally. You'll be able to have one of those. So that's the idea. Preço de inscrição para a conferência este ano. Este ano não vamos ter preço assim. Vamos ter uma coisa com lunação para, não sei, para dar. Se você não pode dar dinheiro para a conferência, então não tem problema para mim, porque a coisa mais importante é isso de poder assistir, de poder falar com a gente. Então não temos nenhum preço agora mesmo e não vamos ter nenhum preço no futuro. Então pode ser também para a gente que quiserem fazer algo com a conferência para poder assistir sem pago também. Isso. Which languages am I learning at the moment? Farsi. I had Persian. I had Persian lesson this morning, in fact. I was, because I was feeling a bit sick yesterday, I actually wasn't very good at the lesson. The teacher was really confused what was going on. And he said, he had to go over a lot more of the past vocabulary, because I was like just not getting anything at all. I was like really slow in the lesson and really groggy. But yeah, I'm learning Persian at the moment, and Maori. Although my Maori is a kind of a little bit going through a bit of a difficult patch at the moment, I'd say. It feels like I'm sort of trying to swim in treacle is probably the best way I can explain how my Maori feels right at the moment. But I absolutely love the language, and I love that. And I feel, you know, those feelings of guilt you get when you're not doing it properly, or you feel you're not moving forward. I have that at the moment with Maori, unfortunately. I know many of you do understand that feeling. So yeah, you know, it's one of those situations for me at the moment with Maori. Virtual badge, yeah, cool idea, isn't it? I like it. I like it too. I'm very happy that you like that. There's a bahasa dan bagaimana cara Anda melakukannya? Anda bicara berapa bahasa? Sekarang tidak tahu, karena saya bicara dalam bahasa-bahasa lain di rumah, 5 bahasa di rumah, dan di luar, di kota ini, di Skopje, saya bicara dalam bahasa Makedonia, bahasa Albania, bahasa Turkia, dan bahasa Serbia juga. Tetapi kalau saya pergi ke Greece, saya bicara dalam bahasa Greece juga, dan bahasa Bulgaria juga. Tetapi untuk pekerjaanku, saya bicara dalam bahasa-bahasa lain juga, bahasa Rusia, bahasa Czechia, bahasa Poland, juga semua bahasa untuk pekerjaanku. Tetapi sekarang dan juga bahasa Indonesia, setiap minggu ada dan kelas bahasa Indonesia, karena saya cinta bahasa Indonesia juga. Tapi saya sudah lupa banyak bahasa juga. Okay, that's my terrible Indonesian for you all to embarrass myself. So there we go. You can see I'm a learner too, right? Let me see. I've got, okay. So Tim, you're online. I love that you're online. Fantastic. What time is it in Japan? It must be like gazillion o'clock right now. I love it. Tim is now italki's #1 customer because he's having like a gazillion lessons with italki. I love it. So French fluently. Yeah, we're definitely going to go to the Himalayas, Tim, just so you know. I'd love to go. Okay. Bahasa, okay. Did you understand my Indonesian? That's cool. I like that you understand my Indonesian. Bagus. Bagus. Okay. Let me see if I've got any more questions here on this. I'm a native English speaker, learning Portuguese with certification. Could I get a job when you skill? I have a degree also. Potentially, yeah. I mean, it depends what kind of job you're after with languages. I mean, you can apply for many different places using your languages. It's cool. I tended to apply for jobs where they needed certain languages, and then I just added. I asked them if I could use other languages that I had, and they were happy for me to do that, to add value. And then I kind of made my jobs polyglot and multilingual, which was a lot of fun for me. Okay, so you were asking about the people with disabilities because you know somebody and he's smart. Well, it sounds like somebody who would be very, very cool to maybe present at the conference. Maybe that would be a really, really cool thing to be able to do. So if you feel like reaching out to your friend, I'd be very, very happy about that. Hello from Bristol, hello. Wow. Kannst du Deutsch sprechen? Ja, das kann ich natürlich. Ja, Deutsch ist für mich ja eine Sprache, die ich eigentlich zu Hause benutze. Liebe Grüße aus Nordmexiko, hallo. Ja, also Deutsch benutze ich ja sowieso tagtäglich. Also es ist für mich eine Sprache, die ich eigentlich sehr gern spreche und auch sehr häufig. Okay, let me see. Semua bahasanya juga. Greetings from Malaysia. Oh, wow. Brian, thank you very much. Nice to see you. Wow, Brian Liu, you also are just one wonderful person. Brian also spoke at the conference, and he's just a great guy. Brian's lovely. He works with us as well at the Social Element. We all love Brian. He's so nice and so positive. And I'm glad you could understand my terrible Bahasa. Hopefully I didn't butcher it too much. So, okay, Tim, it's it's 1:45 in the morning. Wow. Nepali. Yeah, I'm going to get to Nepali, Paul. To Tim, I think Nepali will happen at some point. Why not? Why not, hey? Why not? I'm just going to check to see if there are any more questions. I think I may have run out of questions, which is interesting because I normally don't. Well, so whether I've probably answered all your questions because I speak a lot. So maybe I've just answered them all. But in any case, we are getting very close to the end anyway, so it's probably going to get to the right time to finish soon. You feel ignored? I'm so sorry. I'm trying many times now before with this question. Do you think? What do you think about Baltic languages, Lithuanian, Latvian, and Prussian, and Livonian, I guess, and maybe even Estonian, I guess, as well. It's very interesting to hear your opinion. I love them. I hope that's not a very simplistic answer. No, I really like them. So I've only really studied Latvian. I studied Latvian in Riga, and really like Latvian. I think that I'd love to learn Lithuanian at some point, and definitely I'd love to learn Estonian too, and Livonian and everything. Prussian I've not really looked at. Livonian I've tried to look at, but I don't speak it. I'm interested in Livonian because obviously Livonian is what caused the intonation on Latvian. How Latvian is now spoken is because of Livonian and because of the that sort of flat porosity of that language family, and Lithuanian, of course, because it's of particular interest to linguists around the world. I would definitely love to learn that too. Do you speak any of those languages? I'm sorry you felt I was ignoring you. I never ignore anyone. I just, if you feel like it's definitely never intentional. So seriously, sometimes I do get quite a lot of comments and they go up, so sometimes things get missed. So if you ask me again, I will always do my best to answer. In Nederlands spreken, ja, wat zou ik zeggen? Ik kan Nederlands, natuurlijk. Ik heb in Nederland gewoond. Ja, en ik moest altijd Nederlands spreken daar, dus ja, geen probleem hoor. Ja, gewoon spreken. Okay, what's the price for the online conference? Again, the conference doesn't have a price this year. It's going to be donation-based. So you are welcome to make a donation. We'll have a suggested donation price, but if you can't donate, we're not going to exclude anyone. We want everyone to be able to come. So we'll have it open soon to sign up, and then we'll just allow you to donate if you feel like you can donate to support the cause. What happens with the money, just so you know as well, it helps for, obviously this year we have certain bits of money from sponsors as well as other places, but what it does is it means that the Polyglot conference, if we have money left over, it helps us to put on events in other parts of the world and have it filmed. So this year, for example, we had some money over from Fukuoka, and we set up the language event in Edinburgh, and we had it professionally filmed, which obviously costs a lot of money to do that, and that means that we have more videos and more information to share on our channel, and it means that you can all enjoy more from it. So what we do is we like to give back to the community when we have that extra cash. Same thing we did as well. We had a bit of money for Melbourne last year at the language event. So again, we invested that money into some filming. Unfortunately, the filming guy made a right mess of it. I'm so sorry. I can't say that in a diplomatic way. He completely messed it up. He was supposed to film one of the talks, and he messed up the sound. And so in the end, all we could have is kind of a video showing the highlights of the event, which is a real shame because we did pay for that and didn't really get anything we could use out of it except for a highlight video. But hopefully that won't happen again. We would definitely look at somebody else for the next time for any Australia events. Okay, let me see. könntest du uns die Geschichte, wie du Deutsch mit Kindern gelernt hast? Okay, ob ich das erzählen kann. Ja, es wäre vielleicht ein bisschen so eine lange Geschichte, muss ich sagen. Also, ja, ich war Au-pair in Deutschland und, ich habe in einer Familie gewohnt und dort habe ich tagtäglich auch Deutsch gesprochen natürlich. Und, ja, deswegen kann ich Deutsch. Ich meine, ich habe auch 8 Stunden pro Tag die Sprache gelernt. Und das heißt so, ich habe, von der Prüfung in Großbritannien habe ich die Bücher mitgenommen und dann habe ich, so alles, was da drinnen war, habe ich gelernt, also auswendig gelernt und dann, abends dann benutzt. Und deswegen konnte ich dann so teilweise so Deutsch lernen und dann danach habe ich eigentlich ohne Bücher dann weitergemacht, also mit Fernsehen gucken und, so einfach mit den Leuten zu plaudern, dann bringt das was, ne? Und dann habe ich auch Sachen auf Deutsch gelesen. Und ja, also beim Spielen, beim Plaudern, beim Stadtbummeln, also überall, dann habe ich Deutsch gelernt. Und damals gab es eigentlich auch nicht so viel im Internet. Also es gab ja kein, so YouTube gab es gar nicht und dann auch Facebook sowieso gar nicht und Twitter auch nicht, Instagram auch nicht. Also es gab nur so Internet, so quasi, was war es eigentlich? Ich habe keine Ahnung mehr. Es war vielleicht Alta Vista noch. Also so, es ist eine Ewigkeit. Ja, aber ja, also so habe ich mein Deutsch gelernt. Estonian is kind of similar to other languages. Yes, it is. Lithuanian is the only understand some. Yes, it is. So um, I actually have seen some things in Lithuanian, and from my studies of Latvian, I've understood definitely words and sentences in Lithuanian. So I can see how it's similar. When they speak, I don't really get it so much, but when I see it written down, it's a lot easier. What's the fee for the Polyglot conference? So I've got this question a few times now. No fee for the Polyglot conference this year. It's going to be a donation. So we're going to have a suggested donation, and we'll have somewhere where you can just sign up. But you'll have to sign up. That's the only thing you have to do, sign up. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I've got any more questions here. I can't see any more questions unless I'm... Yeah. I can't see any more questions for me. So I think we're getting close to the end. Okay. 你可以说中文吗？一点儿。谢谢。我会说一点儿中文。因为我在加拿大学习中文，但是在马其顿，我住在马其顿，但是在马其顿我们都没有中国人。但是我会说一点儿。When am I next online live? I'm going to be online again on Thursday at 7 p.m. Central European time on my Speaking Fluently channel. So I will be talking, and that will be just about languages, not about the conference, about languages only. And I think we're getting to the end of this live now. So I will finish the live before Instagram deletes my live, because Instagram likes to delete lives. It did it to me on Thursday, unfortunately. I wasn't quick enough. So I will definitely do that. And I've just seen on YouTube, do I speak a Celtic language? I speak Welsh, which is a Celtic language. And I would love to learn Irish and Manx and every other language that exists on the planet. It's ridiculous. I would like to learn every language. I've got the same problem as everyone else who loves languages. I just want to learn them all. I love them, I love them, I love them. So I will end this now, and I will speak to you again in 2 weeks' time about the Polyglot conference and give you an update, hopefully on registrations, the site, and all that kind of stuff for the Polyglot conference itself. I will talk to anyone who's interested in language learning languages, just wants to talk to me and ask me random questions on Thursday on Speaking Fluently pages and channels, I'm very happy to do that. I really enjoy those sessions a lot. And yes, feel free to like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really one for saying all these things because I'm not a big, I guess I don't consider myself, yeah, obviously I don't do this as a job, but I do that so that you can follow what's going on. And if you're into the community, feel free to to follow along. It's always a pleasure. And yes, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend this hour with me, talking about languages, talking about the Polyglot Conference. And remember, get your applications into the Polyglot Conference this week before the end of this month, when we will be taking it off the website. So please do apply to speak at the Polyglot Conference. Looking so much forward to seeing you all again, and looking forward to reading all of your wonderful proposals to speak at the Polyglot Conference. Bye, everyone.